Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 49ers could sign ex-Cowboys starter as cover for Talanoa Hufanga. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be without Talanoa Hufanga for some time, and a former Dallas Cowboys DB could provide cover for him. After 3 years as the Cowboys' starting strong safety, Jayron Kearse tested free agency to poor results. The 30-year-old safety was still unsigned as Week 6 began, and that could be good news for the 49ers. With Hufanga on injured reserve and Jair Brown coming off an injury in the 49ers' 24-23 loss to the Arizona Cardinals in Week 5, signing some cover might be a good idea. In terms of potential free agents, Kearse has to be considered. Kearse, who has 54 NFL starts to his name over 8 years in the league, remains unsigned after a down 2023 in which he was given a 40.9 coverage grade by Pro Football Focus. That could ward off the 49ers, but he could sign for cheap with a competitive team willing to bet on a bounce-back season. His 2022 deal with the Cowboys was a 2-year, $10 million. There's no way to tell what San Francisco could whittle down a deal to, but it'd probably be a good chunk less than his previous $5 million AAV. Before his arrival in Dallas, Kearse had started just 12 games his entire NFL career. The former Clemson Tiger first entered the NFL as a 7th-round pick in the 2016 NFL Draft with the Minnesota Vikings. After 4 years of being a backup in Minnesota, he took on a bigger role during a 1-year stint in 2020 with the Detroit Lions. But it wasn't until he got with the Cowboys that he truly shined in a lead role. According to PFR, Kearse swatted 10 passes, nabbed 2 interceptions, and made 9 TFLs with Dallas in 2021. He then grabbed another INT in 2022, although he only registered 2 PDs with 7 TFLs. His 2023 season was solid as well. He defended 4 passes, made 1 interception and made 4 TFLs. Over 3 seasons with the Cowboys, Kearse was also a good blitzer, make 4.5 sacks. The latest injury issue for Hufanga is frustrating for both the player and the team. Hufanga is just coming back from a serious ACL tear in Week 11 of the 2023 season, and will now miss at least 4 weeks with a wrist injury. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan explained that he tore ligaments in his wrist on October 8, but has otherwise been tight-lipped on the situation. When San Francisco placed him on the IR, their corresponding move was to promote T.E. Braden Willis to the 53-man roster. That's not a like-for-like swap obviously, and the 49ers are likely weighing up their options at safety. Brown has no injury designation for TNF, and will likely start alongside backup safety George Odom. As things stand, San Francisco will enter the game with rookie Malik Mustafa as their only backup safety. The 49ers have a single safety on their practice squad in Jalen Mahoney. Mahoney is a rookie out of Vanderbilt, where he made 54 appearances with 4 interceptions, 18 passes defended and 4 sacks. Despite the barrage of injuries, the Cowboys' defense is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The Dallas Cowboys escaped by the skin of their teeth on Sunday night thanks to another strong outing by their defense. It's refreshing to see the defense play well after horrendous showings in Weeks 2 and 3. They seemed on the verge of destruction as new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer didn't look like the answer. 2 weeks later, some of that faith has been restored as not only are they keeping teams from scoring, but they are doing so with a severely depleted unit. One might find this hard to believe, but the Cowboys' defense ranks better than the offense in the following categories: yards per play, interception percentage, third down conversion percentage, and after such a tumultuous start, the defense is now in the top half in rushing yards per play, while the offense is second to last. This is not how things are supposed to go. The offense has returning coaches and several all-pro players, while the defense has a new defensive coordinator and is severely banged up. How is the defense pulling this off? Sam Williams' season was over before it started. The team lost both Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence last week, and rookie Marshawn Kneyland was injured on the fourth defensive play of the game. For those keeping score at home, that's DE1, DE2, DE3, and DE4 who are out. That's incredibly unlucky. Last season, the team could reach deep into their depth pocket and pull out Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler, but both those guys are playing for the NFC East leading Washington Commanders now. Instead, they have turned to Chauncey Golston, Carl Lawson, and Tyrus Wheat for answers. If you have started to tear up about now, we understand. This looks really bad. But to the surprise of many, this trio held up rather well on Sunday. Golston is a versatile player and can be a hindrance both in pass rush and against the run. He's not imposing, he's just pesky. Golston finished with the third-best PFF grade on defense for the Cowboys on Sunday night. Lawson and Wheat aren't splashy players, but they're not liabilities either. Besides a roughing the passer penalty, Wheat showed good discipline and was attentive in the run game. And while Lawson never got home, he was pressuring. When you consider the team was down to DE5, DE6, and DE7, they held up rather well. And we can't leave the defensive line without mentioning what Linval Joseph has done. He was a late add, but he fits Zimmer's defense so well. He was the highest-graded defensive player on Sunday, and he was flat-out embarrassing guys. His presence in the middle is noticed. Cowboys trade pitch brings five-time Pro Bowl receiver back to Dallas. This year's NFL trade deadline is quickly approaching on November 5th, and the Dallas Cowboys are one team that should be looking for help in the coming weeks. America's team hasn't looked special throughout a 3-2 start to the season and could benefit from improving on both sides of the ball, especially in the wide receiver room. With Brandon Cooks on the injured reserve, CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert have been the Cowboys' only reliable receivers. If team owner/general manager Jerry Jones truly wants to end the franchise's Super Bowl drought in February, it might be in his best interest to add another wideout to the mix. Fortunately, a proven playmaker could be available ahead of the deadline, and it's someone who Dallas fans are more than familiar with. CBS Sports' Josh Edwards pitched on Thursday that the Cowboys should acquire Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns before the deadline. Cooper, 30, spent parts of 4 seasons in Dallas before moving to Cleveland in 2022. While some available playmakers might be too pricey for the Cowboys, that isn't the case for Cooper. The ex-Alabama product is only carrying a $8.74 million cap hit after restructuring his contract during the offseason, which is more than affordable for a Dallas team with $23.6 million in salary space remaining, per Spotrac. The Cowboys still own the majority of their draft picks for the next 3 years, which should give them enough capital to acquire Cooper. Considering how the veteran WR is on an expiring contract, the Browns would likely be happy to get a day 2 pick or 2 in return rather than losing him for nothing in free agency. The Cowboys acquired Cooper from the then Oakland Raiders in exchange for a first-round pick back in October 2018. He went on to play 56 games in a Dallas jersey, turning 429 targets into 292 catches for 3,893 receiving yards and 27 touchdowns. Cooper has since recorded back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns with the Browns. However, his production has been down this season. The ex-2015 first-rounder is averaging a career-worst 41.6 receiving yards per game while only catching 42.6% of his targets. Perhaps a reunion with the Cowboys could help Cooper get back on track. He already has a connection with quarterback Dak Prescott, which produced some of the duo's best performances to date. With a motivated Cooper back in town, the Cowboys could potentially look like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Amari Cooper? Leave your opinion in the comments.